Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Monday to everybody. Impromptu stream today. Got the house to myself for about an hour. No kids, no wife. So I figured why not go live. And this will be a call-in show. The number is 855-902-9368. Hope all of you had an amazing and fantastic holiday weekend. Hope nobody had any sort of firework accidents or anything like that. I know I didn't. Who was the player a few years ago that blew two of his fingers off? Is that Jason Pierre-Paul from the New York Giants? I think he blew two of his fingers off, and nobody's really heard from him since. I know he's still in the league, but he's really a non-factor. Can anybody else think of any other New York Giants that have sort of shot themselves in the face or blown their fingers off in the past few days? I think I can. I think I can think of one. This guy didn't blow off his fingers, though. He shot himself in the foot. 0-1 versus Peete. Anyway, again, the number is 855-902-9368. This call-in show is driven by the calls, and I'll check the call-in line here in a second. But for the time being, I'm going to check the chat and see who has shown up and showing love. It looks like we got, hold on, let me scroll back up here real quick. We got Tiger Nation, my man, in the house. College football maniac, Prince 6'1", my boy, Uncle Luke, Clemson 16-18 national champs, Billy Dawson, Vodka Drinker, what's up, man? The GOAT Watson in the house. What's up, Pigskin Pete and fam, he says. MCD Sports 4. What's up, man? How you doing tonight? Jamal Stevens says, what's up, Pete? What's up, Jamal? Ramon Jordan, my man. Y'all Haitian sensation JPP. I ain't seen him in the club in Miami. He looks like he eats steroid sandwiches. That's a big dude. Yeah, he is a big dude. Ramon Jordan, I know you're happy about getting my man Christian Wilkins. I was just reading a thing online, an article they wrote about him, and that you guys hit a home run. What did you guys pick him? 11th overall? Something like that. 10th? 11th? Butcher's Block and Patriots Talk. Rum Boys says, what's up, Pigskin Pete? What's up? And Butcher's Block, Patriots Talk, Rum Boys, I know they've got a... listen, forgive me. I don't want to butcher you. I think you've got a YouTube channel and maybe a blog. And so y'all go check them out as well. I know I stopped by and watched one of your episodes, and it was pretty informative. Christian Ballard, Bucks go 7-9. Hey, Christian Ballard, I'm glad you showed up, man, because I got to say something. So I don't want to get too far into the weeds here with what's going on with YouTube and all their new changes and policy changes and everything. But I noticed that so the way I have my YouTube channel set up, I have that all of the comments, all the push notifications come to me, whether it's on my computer or on my cell phone, and I try to read every comment, always have. I don't respond to all of them because I can't do that all day long. But there's people, Christian Ballard is one of them, and a few other guys. I'm not going to go through and name everybody, but I get the push notification on my phone about their comment, and then I go to respond to it on my page, and it's not open to the public. So after doing a little bit of research, I found that YouTube has a new policy. And what they're doing is they are holding any questionable comments for a review. They're trying to reduce the amount of flags that get put on people's channel. I think it's just an operational type of thing for them, so they have to do less work, basically. So I went on to my Creator Studio app on my computer, from where I make my videos from, and I went to the comments things and saw there was over 100 actually, comments that were being held for review, and a lot of you were on them. So you commented to me, I can see them on my push notifications, but they're not going on public chat. And so I can't respond to them or like them or anything like that. So I think people think that I'm ignoring them or whatever. That's not the case. I don't know how to combat that. It's just it's a thing that I have to deal with. So if you're one of these people that's leaving comments and I'm not responding or anything like that, it's not me that's doing it. It's YouTube. And so what I'm having to do now is go every day and check in and see if there's any comments that are being held for review. And I don't even know why a lot of these are being held for review, because they're not like vulgar comments and they're not comments that contain words that I've blocked or anything like that. I don't know what the deal is. It's frustrating as hell for me. So if you're one of those people, I apologize. I'm just now finding out about this. I don't know what else to do other than go by a day later and check it and approve it. So it is what it is. What's up to General? Captain Trips in the house. I'm going to go ahead and just see if anybody's calling in right now. And nobody yet. So I will just go ahead and respond to the comments until somebody calls in, if anybody calls in. There's not a whole lot going on in college football right now. And there just isn't. I mean, everything right now is just speculation. I mean, you got people decommitting. You got people, we're starting to see like the recruiting stuff come out for 2021, which is way, way far ahead from where I'm even willing to talk about, because that's way too far ahead. Bartholomew E-I-E-I-O, that's a hell of a name. I want the wrestling guy to call in and play his action figures to talk to Fix Kid Pete. Yeah, this is that jabroni. Man, I was so disappointed. And listen, I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on Cop Izzle. I'm just not going to do it because he's not worth it. But so I woke up this morning and I had a text from Catfish that said, hey, man, Cop Izzle responded to your video about him. So I went and watched it, and I was actually kind of disappointed, man. It just wasn't good. I thought he had more heat than that. So, and I was ready to respond to him, but there's nothing to respond to. As far as I'm concerned, I'm 1-0 against that guy. So he can continue to make videos about me all he wants, but all he's got in his ammo case is that I'm a redneck from South Carolina who's a bandwagon fan. This is coming from a guy that lives in Tennessee and is a Giants fan. I mean, come on. Let's get real here. And as far as redneck goes, listen to me talk and then listen to him talk. You can judge who's a redneck or not. One giant rebuttal coming through with a super chat for $5 says, Pigskin Pete, enjoy what you do. You might not know who I am. I do know who you are. I think that you're the guy. And listen, I apologize if I'm wrong about this. I think that you used to be the stuck in the 80s guy. And I might be wrong about that. You might be somebody different. But I think I do know who you are. And I have seen your videos. I'm pretty sure I'm subscribed to you. Why are you getting so many? Okay, that's not. Oh, you're not. Okay, I'm sorry. You're not the same guy. I apologize. I'm sorry about that. What's up, George? How you doing, man? And I think I got a call here. Let me see if anybody's on here real quick. And it looks like I do. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Hey, Pete, it's the General. How are you doing today?
What's up, the General? How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. I was just sitting here relaxing, and I was thinking, and I saw you went live, so I thought I'd jump in here and give you a call.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
And I've been thinking about this for a while, and I just wanted to get your opinion on it. And it's a very interesting question. I saw it on Twitter come up first. Do you know Tennessee's schedule?
Do I know USC's schedule?
No, I know Tennessee. Do you know Tennessee, the majority of Tennessee's
schedule? Yeah, I do. I couldn't name every single game off the top of my head, but yeah, I know pretty much what it is. Yeah.
What do you think is more likely? Tennessee goes 9-3 with that schedule, or 4-8?
Which one's more likely? I think it's more likely that you go 9-3. Now, I'm not saying you are going to go 9-3 because I don't think you are. I have Tennessee, and this year I'm optimistic that you will be 8-8 or 8-4. That's my prediction as I sit right now. But I do think it's more likely that you win 9 games than 4. You'll win more than 4 games, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm with you 100% on that. When you look at the schedule, I think the absolute best case scenario is 9-3.
I agree.
Now, the absolute worst case scenario is probably 5-7, 4-8.
I completely agree with that.
So,
yeah.
Go ahead.
I'm actually do you one better. I think your best case scenario is 9-3. I think your worst case scenario is 6-6. I think you'll make a bowl game without question.
Okay, yeah. So even if it's 6-6, what I'm saying is the best case scenario for Tennessee, because we have to play the big three every year: Alabama, Georgia, and Florida.
Right.
And that's one of the tough stretches in college football of all the teams. So obviously this year, at the very best, Tennessee's going to win one of those three games. And being honest, they're going to be heavy underdogs in all three of those games. Now, is it possible Tennessee can win one of those games? Absolutely. It's always possible. And who do you think is the most likely out of those three, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, that Tennessee wins? Florida's in Gainesville, Georgia's in Knoxville, and Alabama's in Tuscaloosa.
I think the most likely is you'll beat Florida. And the reason I say that, and this is a very dumbed down answer. I apologize for that. It's not a whole lot of thought that goes into it. It's just simple judgment that I think that out of those three teams, that Florida is a step behind both Georgia and Alabama. That's why.
Yeah, and I'll agree with you that Florida is a step behind Georgia and Alabama, especially all that's gone on, the dysfunctionality that has gone on with the offseason there. But I really think Georgia is more likely to win than Florida, and here's why. I'm really high on Florida, but let's be real, they're not better than Georgia. They're just not right now.
No.
But here's the deal. Florida is known for having that defensive line.
Okay.
And they have a defensive coordinator in Todd Grantham that is known for blitzing. And he blitzes the hell out of everything. They call it third and Grantham. Because on third down, no matter what, he's blitzing. You know he's blitzing. Last year in Knoxville, our offensive line, which was one of the worst in the country, just couldn't handle that. So Garantano has like 3 seconds to get rid of the ball and is getting hit every single passing play.
Mm-hmm.
And you're just not going to win a game like that. So my point is, Florida, if that defensive line is – the defensive line is probably going to take a step down or two. But even if it's remotely as good as it was last year with Tennessee, they're probably winning that game easily. And that's just because of how good their blitzing is and how bad Tennessee's offensive line is. I'm not saying Florida is better than Georgia. I'm just saying that matchup will cause a lot of concern for Tennessee.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
And that's why I think Georgia's more likely.
I think that, first of all, anything can happen. I mean, there's always – if you're Tennessee, you can look to – you might knock off a Florida or Georgia maybe. But you're also probably going to lose to a team that you probably shouldn't lose to, whether that's South. I mean, I don't think you will lose to South Carolina, but it's possible. Or somebody, Kentucky or somebody. You can have a bad day. But out of all the three teams you just named, Alabama, Georgia, and Florida, obviously we know Alabama and Georgia are just recruiting better and have more continuity, or just doing better in general. But if you look at the quarterback play, that's what's going to separate, because they all have good defenses. Even Florida's going to have a good defense. I'm not going to dispute that. But if you look at the quarterback play, you've got Tua coming back for Alabama. You've got Jake Fromm, even though I don't believe Jake Fromm is even a top 8 or 10 quarterback in the country. He's still a solid quarterback. He's still really good. And he's been there. This will be his, fourth year there, I think. And so he's got a lot of big game experience, and he's got a lot of weapons. And so, but anyway, out of all those teams, Florida has the least experienced, biggest question mark at quarterback, right? So I think that might be the X factor, the difference between Alabama, Georgia, and Florida whenever you play them. I think that their quarterback is just not as proven as those other two teams are.
Yeah, and, part of why I think that is probably because, it's Florida, we're Tennessee. Literally, in my lifetime, we have beaten Florida like 3 times in my lifetime.
Yeah.
And it's ridiculous. Actually, now that I'm counting, it might be, it's probably 3. But anyway, what I'm saying here is Tennessee, if all goes right, you're looking at 9-3, right?
Yeah.
But what if you say you pull off a win against Florida or Georgia, or obviously you're not beating Alabama, nobody is other than Clemson. But what if you win one of those 3? which is probably not going to happen. If it does, what are you doing? You're sitting at like 10-2, which is not going to happen. But what I'm saying is, if you do somehow find a way and get lucky and get to 10-2, what do you think that recruiting class is going to look like if that does happen?
Well, you're the recruiting guy, not me. So I can tell you that I know that Pruitt is already recruiting better than Butch Jones is. I think. Now, I know somebody's going to type in the comment section here, well, Butch Jones had a top 5 class in 2015 or whatever. Maybe he did. I don't know.
Well, here's the deal with Butch. He got a bunch of 3-stars, but he got a bunch of them. So he got quantity, not quality. Pruitt is doing the opposite. He's getting quality, not quantity.
Right.
He's getting a lot of highly rated players, but he's not getting as much as Butch Jones did. So when you're talking about that top 5 class, which is true, he did get one. It's a little skewed because those were literally almost all 3-stars and 4-stars.
Well, here's what I would say. All right, so Butch Jones, he had at least 1, maybe 2 really good recruiting classes, and he crapped the bed with those players. The difference is Jeremy Pruitt came in there last year as a first-year head coach, took over with Butch Jones players, and basically outshined Butch Jones with his own players, right? So my point is that if Pruitt can take Butch Jones players and do better than he did in his very first year there, in a transition year, then I think if he's having a good recruiting class, which I think he is, then he can do better with his own players than he's going to do with Butch Jones players, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does completely. And I tend to agree with you 100% on that. Now, I'm going to jump off here and let you get another call. Thanks for taking my call, Pete.
All right, man. Appreciate it. There you guys have it. That's the general calling in. And it looks like I have another call on the line here, so I'll go ahead and pick that up. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Pete, what's going on, man?
What's up, Ramon Jordan? How you doing, sir?
Not a whole lot, brother. To pick off where we left off, it's funny that you did a show today instead of your usually Friday beer drinker. I don't know if you saw North Carolina picked up another 4-star defensive end today.
I did, man. Mac Brown's killing it over there, ain't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's killing it, man. And I've been the first one to say that Mac Brown's a Band-Aid, and I still do believe. I'm still going to stick by that. I'm not going to change just because he gets, he's starting to recruit really well. I mean, I think that's really why they brought him in there, is to recruit well and to change the culture there.
Yeah.
But I still think he's just a guy who's supposed to come there and turn things in the right direction for a few years and then turn it over to another, maybe a big name recruit after he gets things moving. I'm still going to stick by that.
Right.
Yeah.
And that may very well be the case. I was watching Bobby Durkin's
Hello, you there? I think I might have lost him, man. I don't know. I didn't touch nothing. Ramon, you there? I don't know what just happened. Yeah. Oh, hold on. I hear you now. You there?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, I was looking to see if I pushed the mute button or anything. I didn't push it. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah, I don't know, but I can hear you now. So, all right, go ahead and continue what you were saying.
Oh, no, I was just saying I was looking at Bobby Durkin's preview for Gators upcoming season. Obviously we put in week 1 or whatever. And I had to leave a comment because when he did the review, I mean, he pretty much, without thought, gave the Gators a win over us. So I left a comment, and with the saying, so you just giving the Gators a win over the Hurricanes and opener without any thought to it. He just he wrote back, "Yep, sure do." Which I thought was funny. I'm not upset about it. I would think that in most rivalry games, especially one where it's been so lopsided for years, that he would at least evaluate the game.
Yeah, no, I've got listen again, man. That's the hardest game I think to figure out for week 1. Or I know y'all played week 0. I'm still going to call it week 1 because the week 0 does not exist. There's no such thing as week 0. So week 1,
right?
I'm still saying out of all the games that are played that week or the first 2 weeks, that's the hardest game to figure out, man. Because everything that's going on with Florida, with everything, all the turmoil that's been going on in the offseason. Of course, Miami switching coaches, but Manny Diaz has been there. He's not new. He's just, in a different position. So the whole thing creates a whole lot of confusion as far as I'm concerned. So this, again, like I told you, I think a few weeks ago, man, this thing could end up a blowout either way or a win either way in a close game. So it's really hard to figure out. I'm picking Miami to win a close game by 3 points for now.
Okay.
And the only reason I'm picking Miami to win it is because I just think that Miami is a little bit more stable as a program, not as a football. Now, I'm not saying they have more talent or anything like that, or even a better coach, because we don't even really know that Manny Diaz is a better coach than Florida's coach. But I just think they're just a tad bit more stable. So I'm picking Miami to win a close one.
Right. I mean, we also talking about a team in Florida that's had 2 4-win seasons in the last 5 years. I mean, that's something you got to keep in consideration.
And I think that Miami in the past 20 years is like I don't know, what's the record against Florida for Miami in the past 10 years? I know it's a big time winning record.
They beat us 3 times in the last 35 years.
Well, there you go. So I mean, time's on your side too.
Yeah.
So there you have it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was just funny that he read that, but I got a little kick out of it. I didn't really get too worked up about it, but I am happy to say that it's less than 7 weeks to the kickoff. So me and my family, I don't know if I told you this, but my entire side of my father's family is Gator fans.
Yeah. I mean, Gator fans, they remind me a lot of these fake wrestlers that we all know about. A lot of loud talking, but not a whole lot of game. That's just how it goes. That's just how it goes. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's gonna be this will be my little brother's first time ever going to a game. He's 8 actually, so it's gonna be me, my father, my stepmother, my cousin, and my little brother. So it's gonna be his first time going to a game. I'm sure they'll have him dressed up in Gator gear, but at the end of the day, he might feel like he knows who his real team is when he leaves the stadium. So we're gonna see how that goes.
Where's that game at? That's in Orlando, you say?
Yeah, it's in Orlando at Camping World Stadium.
Yeah. Hey, it's only like 7 weeks away, man. Count down. Counting down.
Oh yeah, a little less than 7 weeks.
And I would definitely be doing a live stream for that game. I can't wait for that. I really can't wait for it.
So, I mean, how do you expect the parity to be this year across college football? I mean, do you still see it top head with everybody lauding the Big Ten?
No, I don't.
You expect a lot more parity?
I expect a lot more parity. I'm looking forward to it, actually. And everyone thinks that Clemson's just going to run through the ACC, which they probably should. But listen, as a realistic fan, even though they probably have I know they have the most continuity and arguably the most talent overall from top to bottom, I still believe they'll lose a game. And if they lose a game to a team like North Carolina or somebody like that, then they, based on their strength of schedule, man, they could possibly get left out of the playoff if they lose a game. Now, it's going to depend on what they do the rest of the year and how they beat people. But as far as the Big Ten goes, yeah, there's going to be tons of parity in the Big Ten. I expect Michigan, who's everyone's favorite right now to win the Big Ten because of what's going on with Ohio State's coaching change. I expect Michigan to maybe beat Ohio State for the first time since, Obama was president, or maybe before that, since Bush was president.
Right,
I don't know.
Yeah.
But I still expect Michigan to probably lose a couple games they shouldn't lose too. So that'll probably lead the Big Ten out of the playoffs. The Big 12 is a huge, toss up because, Texas has obviously been recruiting well and getting better. And Oklahoma, I still think, is the massive favorite to win that. But you have teams like TCU that are, they can knock off anybody on any given day. And so that the Big 12 could be a complete toss-up between 2 or 3 teams. And then the Pac-12, who knows who's going to win that? I think Oregon's going to win it. That's just me. I mean, I think Justin Herbert and that veteran offensive line is going to just wreak havoc. I have Oregon being my dark horse to make the playoffs this year because they have a very, very easy schedule. and they have the most talent and most depth, I think, in the Pac-12. So it's going to be, and the SEC.
Yeah, I mean,
the SEC is again. I mean, you still. I mean, obviously Alabama and Georgia, but can you have another? Maybe can Texas A&M or LSU or Florida or somebody like that surprise people? I don't know. So I think there definitely will be more parity this year than there was last year, for sure.
All right, who had a better season, Texas A&M or Auburn?
Texas A&M.
You think this is it for Gus? You think he's like his walking papers finally?
Yeah, I think Gus Malzahn is under a lot of pressure. And there's a good chance that he possibly could be let go before the season even ends. If he catches an L somewhere early in the season that he shouldn't lose, there's going to be a lot of heat. I know he's got a massive payout, but losing 3 or 4 games is not an option for Auburn fans. They're gonna run him out on a rail, and he'll get fired if he does do that. First of all, let's put it this way: Auburn's not a title contender or a playoff contender as far as I'm concerned. So.
Right.
And the pressure is so massive on him that again, if he loses a game or two early in the season, it's over for him.
Yeah, I mean, they have another loss like they lost to Tennessee last year. They have another loss like that. Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's gonna be very telling if they get an early loss like that.
Yeah, no doubt.
Well, all right, Pete, man. I was just checking in, man, giving you a holler, man. I'll definitely be touching back with you soon.
All right, man, Ramon. Thanks for calling in, brother.
All right, man.
All right. Let's see who we got in the chat here. I'll check the phone lines in a minute. I see my boy Carlos Johnson in the chat, and he is not a football guy. He's just a homeboy from way back, like 8 tracks. And I see Uncle Lou's in here. Good afternoon to you, sir, and good morning, too. Uncle Lou says, should Cop Pizzle call in? Yeah, Cop Pizzle's welcome to call in. The lines are open. I mean, he can call in if he wants to. If he wants to get owned again, that'll work. I mean, he won't do that. Pete is just an ACC homer. Yes, that is true. You speak facts. I am an ACC homer. But that's not all I am. Auburn is going to a New Year's Bowl game? No, I seriously doubt that. Hold on. Let me see if anyone else is on the line here real quick. And it looks like I got a call, so I'm going to go ahead and pick that up. Good afternoon, you're on Pete.
What's up, Pete?
What's up? Who am I speaking with?
Blaine, a.k.a. Tech Fan.
What's up, man? How you doing?
Good. I'm tired.
Hey, that's all right.
Honestly.
Well, how can I help you? What you got on your mind today?
Well, okay, so 3 things. Last thing I'm going to get to is going to be the prediction real quick for Tech. But the other 2 things I said real quick, I don't know if you're gambling, man, but I know the over-under for wins in the season just came out, I think, last week, or I'm mistaken probably, but
you said against Pittsburgh? That's what you said?
No, for just total wins predicted.
Okay.
The over-under.
All right.
For what you would guess, what do you think they would have us at?
Oh. Without knowing, I would say 6.
If you just took a shot in the dark.
If I took a shot in the dark, I'd say either 6 or 7 wins. 6 probably.
Well, you're off. They have us at 4.
4?
Not even kidding. 4.
I go over. I put my money on over. I think you'll win more than 4 games.
That's what I'm saying. I understand scheme change is big, but I don't see if we win 3 games, then that's just the bottom out of the season.
Well, let's just use common sense here. We're going to say at least 2 of those are cupcake games, right? I mean, I don't know your schedule off the top of my head, but 2 of them are going to be against Georgia State and some FCS team, most likely, right? So that's 2 off the bat that most likely, you got a 99% chance of winning. So that's 2. So you're telling me that out of your whole schedule, out of those 2 games, you're not going to beat any 2 games in the Coastal Division? I can't. More than 2 games in the Coastal Division. I mean, I can't buy that. I think you'll win definitely over 4. Now, now 5 wins. I could see that, but I could also see 7 wins. So, but not 4.
Yeah, I could see. No, not 4. 5. Yeah, I can see us only with 5 wins. That's possible. I can see us with 7 too. I mean, not 4. If you're telling me that we're going to win 3 games, 4 games, I don't see it. I mean, I understand we have 2, we start with the hardest competition, we end with the hardest competition. I understand that.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you're telling me we can't beat a team like Pittsburgh or North Carolina or something like that.
Well, here's one thing I know.
I mean,
after 1 week, after 1 interaction with one team, you're going to be 0-1. You're going to be 0-1 versus Peete. That's for sure. But after that, I'm
going to go and tell you my predictions here.
It's a toss-up.
So, you carry on.
Yeah.
So, I mean, okay. So, week 1, I'm going to say we're going to lose. I just don't want to get blown out. It's possible we get blown out, but, I mean, if we somehow won that, there's obviously I think it's 95-5 right now when I last checked. I mean, if we win, it'd be a miracle. But
yeah,
I'll go ahead and chalk it up as a loss. Week 2, USF. We get them first game home. I think emotions will be high because we lost to them last year in Tampa. I think emotions will be high. We'll want revenge. So I think we'll be able to get that one. Then we have Citadel. Should be able to win that. Then you get a bye week, and then we have to go on the road to Temple. I mean, obviously they're making a coaching change. That's where Collins is from, so that could be a little difficult, but I think those games are winnable.
I think you'll win that.
Okay. Then it goes week 4, we would go to North Carolina comes home. That game is going to be interesting for the fact that it's 2 new coaches facing off, and it's his second ACC game. So I'll give it to us just because North Carolina has a lot more things to go, per se. Like, they have a lot more rolling against them.
Mm-hmm.
They can win that game, don't get me wrong, but I just don't think it'll happen.
No.
Then we go, I mean, it's possible, but I don't think it'll happen. You're probably right. But then we go to Duke, which we haven't been good against them, but they do lose Daniel Jones. So right now I'm 50-50.
Wait. Who's the former quarterback at Duke again?
Daniel Jones.
Oh, where'd he get drafted at?
He's in New York. He's number 6.
Is he going to be the starter for the Giants next year? Because Eli Manning's washed up. You know that, right?
Honestly, you have to look at more statistics. I mean, everybody says Eli's washed up. But,
yeah, Eli's washed up.
He has a horrible line.
Yeah, he's going to get beat out by a Duke quarterback. We all know that. I mean, come on, man.
Not at the start of the season, but maybe later. You're right.
Yeah.
But I think we'll maybe beat Duke. I'll give it to us just because I'm optimistic and I'm a fan. But it wouldn't surprise me if we didn't beat Duke. I mean, it's on the road. Then we get to go through Miami. That game is going to be the key for the whole season. And I'm not feeling good about it at all.
Yeah, you shouldn't.
You know what happened last time in Miami? The absolute horse crap of a catch and they did 8 screenplays in a row. We can't stop it.
Yeah, we talked about.
Now I hope we got that.
Yeah, we talked about this. We talked about this before. I mean, the Georgia Tech's problem is they got to fix their defense because, again, Paul Johnson never focused on the defense because their whole strategy was to run the triple option and keep the ball for 70% of the game, the time clock, and that's not going to happen now. So that's a problem. It's going to take a year or two to not only change the offensive scheme, but to rebuild the defense for people that can actually stop somebody because they're going to be on the field for a lot longer than they're used to.
That is a bad. You can look at that in a bad perspective and a good perspective. It is bad that they aren't getting all that rest with the option chewing the clock like they used to. But if you look at it from a good, be able to get more experience and get better as the game goes.
Well, yeah. Listen, you got to have the horses to run the race, and I'm not saying that Georgia Tech don't have the horses on defense. Well, actually, I am saying that because they just need to. They got to regroup. They got to build the defense, and they've got to get players on offense. So, it is what it is, bro. I mean, here's the thing, man. Georgia Tech's probably going to beat somebody they probably shouldn't beat, but they're probably going to lose every game they should lose, and maybe lose a game that they shouldn't. So I'm looking, again, like you said at the start of this thing, I'm looking at probably somewhere between 5 and 6 wins, maybe 7 at the best. That's what you're looking forward to. And if you win 6 or 7 games this year, if you're a Georgia Tech fan, you should be optimistic about that. Now, if you go out there and only win 3 or 4, that's all. Yeah,
6 or 7.
Yeah, you should be. You should be.
I mean, I'll say this: with the defense, like I said, the defense is going to have to do more load. Do a lot more work than they've had to the past 10 seasons. But it helps with one thing that I know is all the returning starters will have next season. I'm not trying to get away from this season, but if I'm remembering correctly, we're going to have 10 returning starters next season.
Right.
Which is a big help.
Right.
But, I mean, the offense is going to – the fact is, playing Clemson is a good thing with the offense for the fact you're playing the best top 3 team in the nation. That if you're running a whole new offense, you're going to be able to learn – you're going to have to learn and get used to it real quick. You have to go. You can't – why it helps with that you're playing that level at the start. Now, is it going to be automatic? No. I mean, I'm optimistic, but I know it's not going to be automatic, boom, boom, boom. But
are you a religious man?
Yeah, I am.
All right, so you believe in God?
Yes, sir.
Is Jesus your Savior?
Yes, sir.
All right, well, pray to Jesus that you can make a bowl game. That's pretty much all I can say about it.
I don't really go religious towards football, though. I've rarely had to, but no, but what's it called?
Well,
before I let you get to the next call.
All right.
The only thing I'm going to say, the only thing I want to see is improvement. If we only win 4 games, which we should, but we look good in all 12, I wouldn't be mad. I just want to see something that doesn't look like the same crap I've dealt with for 10 years now.
Well said.
I just want to see that.
Well said. Thank you, sir.
All right. Have a good day, Pete.
All right. Thank you. Good afternoon, you're on Pete.
Yeah, good morning, and Jesus Christ can't help that nerd. Georgia Tech is on their own this year. He can pray. He can wear his knees out It's not going to do any good. Listen, if you have to spend 30 minutes trying to convince YouTubers on a call-in show that your team might be able to beat Duke this year, you're in for a rough year, nerd. I mean, I'm not trying to come down on this guy. I'm sure he's nice, extremely socially awkward, but nice. But listen, look at Arkansas last year. Year one in a complete offensive transition and overhaul is not the recipe for a good season, sir. I mean, God bless you, Pete. Speaking of Jesus H. Christ, but what did H stand for? It doesn't matter. You had a lot of patience with that guy. I don't understand. What Georgia Tech fan? Why are they even out and about? It's July. They're not supposed to come out until the first week of December, and that's only once every 9 years when they beat UGA. Georgia Tech fans are the Punxsutawney Phils of college football. They poke their head around in November every year. Oh, hell, Georgia's good. Damn it. And then if they get lucky and win once per decade, then they talk about it for about 2 or 3 months. And then they spend the other 9 months of the year trying to pretend that Georgia Tech is some academic paradise or something. Breaking news. Michigan is a better engineering school than Georgia Tech. The only thing decent that really comes out of Georgia Tech is terrible traffic patterns and the Challenger disaster. This guy would be better off calling up NASA and trying to convince them that to bring back the show program than he would trying to convince a bunch of people on a YouTube call-in show Georgia Tech is relevant in college football. This is crazy. I don't even know what to do. I'm beside myself. Literally, I'm sitting here looking next to me, and there's another one of me standing here. I don't have a great day.
Yeah, you got to understand, man. There's only one Georgia Tech fan in the entire country that even thinks about calling it the Pigskin Pete Show, and you just heard him. That was it. There's only one. And good morning, and thank you for calling in, sir. There you go. Uncle Lou had no patience for a Georgia Tech fan, did he? Georgia Tech killed those astronauts. Oh, God. Oh, but by the way, thank you, NMD TV, coming through with 2 super chats for $1. Thank you, sir. Everyone go check out NMD TV, Miami YouTuber. This guy, NMD TV, again, I say this all the time, hard-working guy. This guy puts out 1 to 2 videos a day. I know the amount of work that comes into doing that. And I don't know how long this guy's been on YouTube. Maybe like, I don't know, 6 months, 8 months. I don't know. I apologize if I'm wrong about that. But this guy's shot right past me, everybody else. This dude is killing it on YouTube. NMD TV, a big shout out to you, and thank you, sir, for the super chat. And I think I'm going to go ahead and shut the call-in studio down and just take questions in the chat for the next 10 minutes or so. So everybody bear with me for a second here. And then I'll answer all the questions.
The show has ended.
In the chat. Hold on real quick. Anybody who's got a real question for Pigskin Pete in the chat, make sure you go ahead and type it, and I will get to it in just a second. And thank you all for stopping in. I really appreciate it. You're all amazing. You're all fantastic. All right. The floor is yours. Type it in the chat, and I'll answer it if it's a valid question. Nola's in the house. Nola showing up. LSU's beating Bama this year, says Nola. No. But thank you for stopping in. I appreciate it. Garrett Sanders says, hey, Pigskin Pete, everyone go check out Small Vol. Garrett Sanders. SC Tiger Fan 803, what are your thoughts on Florida State this year? My thoughts are if Florida State does not at least win 7 or 8 games, then Willie Taggart will be the next assistant coach in the backwoods, the back rooms at Alabama, like the rest of the washed-up coaches that get fired from their schools normally do. Christian Ballard says Bama is unbeatable. Yeah, they are just as unbeatable as they were last year before they got absolutely embarrassed and destroyed 44-16 to Clemson. And if Tua can stay out of the injury tent for more than 10 minutes, you might have a chance at meeting Clemson again. Buzz Czar says Dino Babers to Florida State. Yes. Thank you. Buzz Czar, you're a genius, sir. And clearly you're a genius because you're here on my channel. And that automatically makes you smarter than the average person in the world. And I've said this. I wholeheartedly believe that Dino Babers will most likely be the next coach at Florida State. So if that does happen, then me and Buzz Czar are going to be the guys that are bragging about it because we're the first two to say it. Who's better, Higgins or Ross? Says NMD TV. That's a good question. Listen, it's like splitting hairs. I tend to believe that Ross is a better raw talent than Higgins. Now, Higgins and Ross are both going to be first-round draft picks when they come in to the draft, whenever they do come in. I mean, Higgins will come in before Ross does, but I think that just physical raw talent, that Ross is a better receiver. But again, Higgins is a number one receiver for anybody in the country if he starts for him. So I'm not hating on him. Lane White says, damn, I offended Uncle Lou that much. Go 1330. How you doing, Pete? Clay Helton is getting fired this year. I'm done with my Trojans. I agree. I think Clay Helton will be fired before week 8. Garrett Sanders, how many wins did the Panthers get in 2019? If Cam Newton is healthy and can throw and he does not re-injure that shoulder, I think that Panthers will win the South and make the playoffs. Now, as far as their total win goes, I don't know. If Cam Newton does not last the season or does not start the first 3 or 4 games of the season because of his surgery, then the Panthers could have a slow start. And so it's really going to depend on his health. If you want me to just to make up a number just for, shits and giggles, I'm going to say the Panthers will be 9-7, 10-6, most likely. Top 3 running backs in college football. Oh, wow. I'm gonna have to put more thought into it. I'm not gonna even get into it. I think there's probably 10 guys that could possibly make a run for that top 3. It's the running back situation in the college football as far as who's the best. Obviously, I'm gonna put ETN in there. I don't care what anyone says. I think you could put Swift in there, and then the third spot, as far according to me, it could be split between probably 7 or 8 other guys. I'd have to really sit down and think about it. I don't know. Did you guys see the article that came out the other day that Swift was committed to Clemson? He was kind of going to come to Clemson. That was what he wanted to do. And the Clemson coaching staff told them that they could only take one running back in that class, so he decommitted. So there was a very good chance he could have ended up at Clemson, but he didn't. But if he wasn't going to come to Clemson, going to Georgia as far as a running back situation goes was not a bad choice. So he did not make a bad choice there. Where do you think Tavion Feaster will end up? That's a good question in MDTV. I have no clue. I thought I had a clue. I still believe that most likely he'll end up with the Gamecocks because that'll be the spot. They need a running back. He will be the featured back day one, no doubt about it. He'll get a ton of carries, and he will still be in South Carolina where he's from, close to his family, and he'll still get a lot of exposure based on the schedule that South Carolina has. Now, I mean, again, South Carolina has such a tough schedule this year that, are his numbers going to be astronomical? No, but he probably can definitely help them win some games that they probably wouldn't win if they didn't have him. And he'll get a lot of exposure being there based on the teams that he's playing. So I think that Feaster has most likely going to end up at South Carolina, maybe Virginia Tech. Eagles UK coming through with a $2 super chat. Welcome, Eagles UK. You're amazing and fantastic, sir. Thank you. And he says, enjoy your behind the camera series. That reminds me, a quick plug for what I got going on this week. I got a lot going on this week. So I have tentatively scheduled another video maker to come on my behind the camera series. Somebody that I actually recorded a video with last week, but the video got messed up. The audio was terrible, and so I had to scrap it. So we rescheduled for this week. Hopefully that still happens. I think it will. Then also on Wednesday, I'm scheduled to do a video with Billy Ratliff from the Volunteer Roadshow, talking and doing a preview about Clemson's football season coming up. And then this weekend, if you don't know already, Uncle Lou is doing a 24-hour live stream on Saturday and Sunday. And I will be filling in with him for maybe 30 minutes or an hour while he takes a break. Maybe, I don't know what he's going to do. Maybe take a nap, go hang himself, punch himself in the face for deciding to do a 24-hour live stream. And so I'll be on there at some point. So a lot going on this week, including behind the camera. But thank you, sir, for the super chat. You're amazing. Oh, what the hell? Bruce Phillips, how you doing, sir? What's up, Peace Game Pete? What's up, Bruce? Pete, what's your thoughts on who will take the Coastal this year? Well, I'm still sticking with Miami. If it's not Miami, I think the next best choice is going to be, surprisingly, Virginia. A close third would be Virginia Tech. And Virginia's a hard team to figure out because I think they're going to play better this year than a lot of people think they will or should. They're really well coached. And we saw what they did last year. They overachieved. But the rest of that division, I mean, just Duke, losing Daniel Jones is going to be a problem. Georgia Tech going through a transition. I just don't know who else in that division. I think it's Miami's to lose rather. And if for some reason Miami falls flat on their face, then what you're looking at is either Virginia or Virginia Tech. And I give a very, 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 very slight edge to Virginia in that case. What comes first? Pruitt leaves, gets fired, or Saban retires from Alabama? Oh, the first thing that will happen in that situation, in my opinion, will be that Pruitt gets fired or leaves, because the only reason I say that is I think that Saban is going to – I believe personally that Saban is going to be there for another 4 or 5 years. So if Pruitt is going to get fired or leave, I think that'll happen within that 5-year period. We'll find out. This year and next year will be a big time decider in whether or not that happens. But I do think that Saban, I just don't think I believe that Saban, he's one of these guys that he's going to stay a little bit longer than people think he will, especially if he continues to win at the level he's winning at. And, he strikes me as one of these guys that just doesn't want to just, walk away from football and ride into the sunset. I think he's going to take 2 or 3 consecutive seasons of him not being a national title contender before he leaves football. ETN did not commit until 7 months later, Tater. Yeah, Uncle Lou, ETN didn't get the call from Clemson until the night of the national championship game in 2016. When Clemson beat Alabama the first time in the national championship game to offer him a final spot. So, listen, LSU and a lot of these other teams, they missed out on him. And so it's not like Clemson was recruiting ETN hardcore, but really nobody else was either. And so that's how that happened. Definitely, listen, I'll give you this. Swift was on their radar much more than ETN was. originally, for sure. What's up, SEC Dog? What's up, Pete? Will anyone ever hire Butch Jones? His press conferences must-watch TV. Yes, somebody will hire him. Are you talking about somebody that's worth a shit? No. I mean, he might end up being the next head coach at, who knows, Ole Miss or somewhere like that. I don't know. If it's in the Power 5, it could be anywhere. It could be, Iowa State for all we know. But no, as far as a national title contending team, no, he won't be hired at a big-time program anytime soon. Are you going to live stream the Florida game? Yes, I'm going to live stream the Florida-Miami game, definitely. The first game of the year. That'll be the only game on in week 0. And yes, I will definitely be live streaming that, without a doubt. All right, guys. The comments and the good questions are drying up, and my computer is dying. And obviously, Kyle Pizzle is getting extremely tired right now, holding up that little figurine, and he's got to take a break too. So you're all amazing. You're all fantastic, and I will catch you all very soon. Don't go anywhere. Keep checking in. You're all amazing. You're all fantastic. Thank you. Big Skin Pete checking out.